What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Litentry. Litentry is a coin I hate. I hate the concept, I hate everything about it, but I do think it can have some success from where it is right now, as you'll see by the sort of price prediction. I also want to talk about another exchange that is looking vulnerable as a result of the FTX SBF contagion event, and it's something that you want to pay attention to because this exchange has its own coin, and that coin could die a death. So you may want to be aware of that as well. Before I get into it though, if you're brand new to the channel, you may be wondering who the hell I am. I'm James, Crypto with James, and why you should listen to me. All fair questions. So these are the first 26 coins I spoke about on this channel. And they're the first 26 coins I owned when I made the channel. Now, had you invested $100 into each of these coins when I released videos about them, and if you had ignored them for literally like 2 years and done everything wrong that you could ever do as an investor, you'd still be in profit for around 7.8k. Doing everything wrong, that's pretty damn good. But if you'd have sold these coins last year when the markets were rocketing up, you could have made 123 grand. 123 grand, that's the difference between doing the right thing and the wrong thing. Now, I sold these coins off last year. These are not what I own. If you want to see my current portfolio, go to copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share my entire portfolio. I share anytime I buy a coin. I share anytime I sell a coin. I have tutorials set up for the members. So because we've got a lot of investors, like a lot of members that have never invested in anything, so don't know where to get started, don't even know how to trade on an exchange. All the tutorials cover everything, so there's no barrier to entry for crypto. Same tutorials I send to my friends and family. And guys, fundamentally, look, I deep dived these markets for the past 8 years. I've got a history of success on here, as you can see from the spreadsheet. You know, Phantom was the only Udemy course, the only one I've ever made in my life, and it was about Phantom. I said it was going to be the best investment of the year of 2020. Ended up going on and doing a 677 times gain. So if you'd have put 2 grand into it, you would have been a millionaire. I will find another Phantom, a coin that I think a coin that has the fundamentals good enough to do that kind of run. When I find it and I get in on it, I'm going to tell the members about it and why I'm getting in on it. If you want to make those kind of gains, go read the site. And everything on the site is verifiable because it's all on the channel as well. Links in the description, guys. So Litentry. Litentry is priced at 66 cents right now, 67. Hit heights, I believe, of $8. Oh, way more than that. They hit heights of $13.50 in the previous bull cycle. Though obviously took a tanking after its effective launch. Then rallied again the second time round when we had that sort of second wave, but only actually hit, basically half of what it hit when it launched. Now, I'm not convinced it can even hit that. I think it can hit $5, which is still, about 8 times gain. But it depends on how much it's integrated. There's a few things that need to happen for it to do something special. The premise of Litentry is about decentralized identity authentication and user activity data management. They were built on Substrate, obviously, because they're Polkadot parachain. That's what they wanted to be. And Litentry's biggest premise is about identity. They're a decentralized identity aggregator that provide the structure and tools to empower you in your identity. And look, as a premise, I can understand what they're trying to do. It's a decentralized cross-chain identity aggregator that enables linking user identities across multiple networks. So they want to provide liquidity and they want to provide interoperability and consistency of data querying. Now, look, I understand, and I think it's an inevitability that we're going to see digital identity. I think it's an inevitability that we're going to be required legally, I'm sure, to have identity verification for the networks that we use. So Litentry could be well positioned in that regard. They are also, and the fact is they are multi-chain. Now, my problem with this is I'm not convinced there's a massive need for this. Not yet. I believe governments are going to make this a requirement to some degree, whether it's whether digital identity across multiple networks, multiple websites, everything. I think they will all be interconnected. So Litentry is in trying to deal with that. But I don't think that's coming anytime soon. And I don't think there is a huge surge of the general public that are keen for decentralized identity solutions. I just know there's no evidence for it at all. One thing we saw in not that long ago, when Snowden released all the documents and we saw that the governments were watching everything we did, there was outrage, but it pretty much dwindled. People stopped caring. And I'm not convinced that many people cared. A lot of people saw him as a villain. I personally didn't. But my point being, if you're that unfazed by governments watching you, are you going to be that unfazed about having to log on and having to have your identity connected? I just don't think people are, I don't think it's a thing people are crying out for. Now, I do like the fact that they've got grants program. That is always something good. I've only ever said that's a good thing. You have to have a reason for people to come and build with you, and they are incentivizing people to come and build with them. But I simply don't believe the push for decentralized identity is there at the moment. I think this is something that if it's still around in 20 years, could do very well, because there may well be a push, there may well be a shift in general consensus. There might be a shift in community, in an individual's priorities. But right now, I don't see any evidence whatsoever that there are lots of people clamoring for a decentralized identity that connects everything. I'm just not seeing it. And I speak to enough people to logically go, look, I don't see it. But I do see governments enforcing digital identity. I can see that decentralized networks are going to be vital in the future. And I can also see that governments are going to want to monitor as well as they possibly can decentralized networks. And if there's a decentralized identity connected to all the networks, it allows governments to monitor individuals more. And we know governments want to monitor individuals because we've seen all the evidence for it when Snowden released everything and when WikiLeaks have released everything. So, I don't know, it's my premise. I think Litentry is well positioned. I think the fact that they have received a ton of grants from Web3 Foundation, clearly a strong team and strong and they've got a very clear idea of what they believe. I just don't see it myself. I don't see the clamoring for this connectivity between all the decentralized applications. I just don't see it. I don't see it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe there'll be a bigger push from the governments around the world for something like this sooner rather than later. So maybe that plays into the narrative or plays into the success of Litentry. Then I'm just not sure. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Are you a fan of decentralized identity? Are you a fan of having your identity connected to multiple networks? Are you a fan of the concept? Do you see the concept having value? Let me know down below. And if you are a returning viewer, hit the subscribe button. Trying to get the amount of viewers that are returning that aren't subscribed down. The reason for this, it helps the channel. Helps the channel immensely. It allows us to start getting founders on for interviews. And fundamentally, look guys, my videos will make you money. You don't want to miss one. So hit the subscribe button and then they hit the bell notification so you know when a video is coming out. It will help you. And guys, if you want to see the coins I own, go to copymycrypto.com. On that site, like I said, I share every coin I own. Anytime I buy a coin or sell a coin, members are notified. Anytime I am watching a coin, hell, sometimes I let them know on that as well. If I'm watching, just looking. And I'm looking for big gains like I found with Phantom. When I find the next Phantom, I will jump on that site and tell the members all about it, why I'm getting in on it. I won't do a silly Udemy course or anything like that. I'm just going to get straight onto the site. The members will know. And if you want to make those gains and have these kind of profits that you can see on a spreadsheet, then go read the site. Everything on there, verifiable, because all on the history of the YouTube channel. And the link, guys, is in the description. And the last piece of news, Serum. So following the collapse of FTX, a group of volunteers have gathered to try and salvage Serum. This is the contagion that is FTX. So that was Serum was Sam Bankman-Fried's other crypto exchange. So Brian Long, one of the volunteers working on the project to save the exchange, says its pivotal role in Solana means it is too important to leave for dead, but until recently it was under the thumb of FTX. So the fact that FTX obviously dissolved or bankrupt could be a bigger problem, because FTX holds the secret keys required to make changes to the code of the DAO that Serum has. But after $400 million in crypto was lifted from FTX coffers on November 13th, confidence in the security of both exchanges was lost. If FTX had been compromised, might the Serum keys have been compromised too? Probably. Serum's collapse could have caused chaos for users of Solana, putting cryptocurrency holdings at risk in the process. It may also have aggravated the crisis of confidence that cut more than 50% from the value of Solana within like a few days. Not even a few days, it was less. So the obvious decision is to clone Serum and begin a new process of forking it. Now, we'll see how this gets on, but if they want to pull Serum out from underneath the wreckage of FTX, the volunteers have no choice but to make it work. So the new version of Serum will be identical to the original from a tech perspective, but it will operate under the name Open Book, nod to the transparency that was lacking at FTX. On November 16th, Open Book had surpassed Serum in daily transaction volume, signaling that traders had accepted the clone as the official successor. But as always, look, these kind of issues bring more issues. And it's important that people are aware of the risks that are currently circulating in the markets. FTX have an immense amount of crypto holdings. Alameda have an immense amount of crypto holdings. You've still got Celsius and Voyager on the back burner with tons of crypto under their control. It's not going to take much other than, a market dump from any of those three, or four rather, and 3 arrows. Market dump to try and get back some of the funds that they've lost in terms of bankruptcy, and the market can be hit hard. And right now, it's not going to take much because the markets are as precarious as they've been, or certainly as sentiment is as low as it's been. So a couple $1 billion dump onto a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, and all of a sudden things start looking precarious once again. So just bear that in mind, have that in your head when you're trying to do trades, because one bad actor can really screw the things at the moment. And that's it from me, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.